Hi everybody. In this week 3 video lecture, we will continue our discussions from what we have discussed on the week 2. Last week we have discussed about the Newton's law of viscosity, how the particularly shear stress can be perceived, and then the tensors where the velocity has the directions and the momentum transport also has a direction as well. And then that one is a part of the molecular momentum flux, and then we discuss about the convective momentum flux and then the combined momentum flux. In this week, we will apply those concepts into examples. My approach in momentum transport has always been focused more on the examples of the concepts to facilitate easy understanding into how those concepts are applied in the real conditions to solve particular problem of interest in chemical engineering. Because to me, I think the concept will be abstract if it's not applied into a particular context. In the following momentum transport discussions, we will limit ourselves into the laminar flow only. So there will be 4 examples on the laminar flow, and all of this is assuming that the flow is a laminar. A laminar flow is an order flow that is achieved in a particular fluid flow systems when Reynolds number is quite small, meaning we don't deal with the turbulent flow. So if in the first step for your particular momentum transport, that we should make a particular postulations about a particular system, and then once we get that postulation, we can link it with the Newton's law of viscosity, and then we use a shell momentum balance in order to derive the shear stress expression for that particular flow systems. Once we get the shear stress, then we can get the velocity profile. And then once the velocity profile has been obtained, then we can get other quantities of interest such as the maximum velocity, the average velocity, or the shear stress at the surface. So laminar flow applies in here to the flow that is illustrated in figure 1a. Okay, where we have a fluid layer that moves smoothly over one another in here. On the figure 1b, on the other hand, it's basically illustrating a turbulent flow where I think mixing is more enhanced compared with the figure 1a. So in this particular slides, we show you a shell momentum balance for the momentum transport in here. So basically you have a rate of momentum in by convective transport, out by convective transport, plus in by molecular transport, minus out by molecular transport, plus the force of gravity acting on your system. Normally this force of gravity is taken in the directions of your flow. Okay, this is what we show in here is a restricted statement of the law of conservation of momentum. Okay, so I think it's quite restricted in the sense that this may not apply to all the systems, but it's enough to illustrate the application of the momentum transport into the example that we discuss in here. And we note that the molecular momentum flux in here is including the pressure and the viscous contributions. So the procedure for setting up and solving viscous flow problem is, the first one is we have a postulations, for example. It will be clear in the examples that we will discuss. And I'm putting a lot of time into making the video for the examples, especially for the 4 examples in momentum transport, because once you understand about how to derive the momentum transport in those 4 examples, then I think the other problems in the heat transport and the mass transport should be quite similar, so it will be easy. So so I put a lot of times into the video, and the video is a bit or I would say much longer than the video that I will make for the heat transport and the mass transport, because I want to make sure that you understand everything. And in any case, the detailed derivations for those examples are given also in the note that is attached into your canvas. The first one will be you make the postulation or identify the non-vanishing velocity components. The second is you write the momentum balance that is shown in the previous slide. And then in here, because it's called a transport phenomena, so our focus is actually on the microscopic scale. So it's not like in your intro you focus more on the macroscopic system, or if you go into the basically a physical scientist realm, then it focus more on the molecular scale, but it's not. In here we are dealing with the microscopic system. So we take a fluid shell elements with the derivations made on the thickness of the system. So we assume that a particular property varies in that particular thickness, and then as we make the momentum balance, we can let the thickness of the shell approach zero to get differential equations for the momentum flux. Once we get this differential equation for the momentum flux, then we can get the momentum flux distribution or shear stress distribution, and then we can use a Newton's law of viscosity, then integrate this equation to get the velocity distribution, and then the other quantities of interest. For the particular examples that we will show, three boundary conditions will be of interest in our case, and this will appear alternately in this different example. Boundary conditions in here is important to connect the value of your constant that you get from your ordinary differential equations into the physical systems. So the boundary condition here is basically the role is to connect with between the mathematical equations with your physical systems. The first boundary condition will be if you have a solid fluid interface, then the fluid velocity will be equal to the velocity at which the solid surface is moving. And this applies to the tangential component and the normal component of the velocity vector. People call this condition non-slip conditions. On the other hand, if you have a liquid-liquid interface, like if you have a flow of two immiscible fluids through a pipe, for example, that will be example 4 in the momentum transport that we will discuss in the week 4. Your tangential velocity component will be continuous through the interface, and then also your shear stress will be continuous across the interface. On the other hand, if you have a liquid-gas interface, for example, when your liquid basically is in contact with the gas, then you can assume that your shear stress is equal to be zero, assuming that your gas velocity gradient is not too large. This is quite reasonable approximation because the viscosities of your gases are much less than those of the liquid, as we show in the previous week video. Okay, and please note that in these three boundary conditions, we assume that there is no material passing through the interface, so there is no mass transport process. As such, there is no absorption, dissolution, evaporation, melting, or chemical reaction at the surface between the two phases. In real systems, however, in chemical engineering process, normally any process, you cannot just get any single process like just the momentum transport or the heat transport or the mass transport, because normally two processes happen simultaneously, such as the heat transport will occur with the momentum transport or the heat transport will occur with the mass transport. However, in order for us to be able to understand this momentum transport, then we basically just focus mostly on the momentum transport while assuming that the other two processes are absent. Okay, the first example will be a flow of the falling film that I will discuss on another separate video. Note that all the examples that I discuss in here is taken from a book of Bert Stewart and Lightfoot. So this book is actually your main textbook for this unit. So you may want to have a look into this book again, and I can share some chapters with you, or I can try to share this book, or you can find the book by Googling it yourself. I think it's available everywhere. For those that are interested and cannot find it, then you can shoot me email, then I will share the link for 1 day or 2 days so that where you can get the PDF copy for these things. But not that it's my right to give you the copy is quite limited, because it's copyright infringement if I distribute this copy, because this book has an associated copyright with the distributions of it. So the particular example that I discuss is basically around this chapter 2. Okay, you may want to look into these things, and then the shell momentum balances and the boundary conditions. What I'm covering in the momentum transport is the basic stuff of these things. For those that are interested more into the situations where the velocity components get more complex, where you have two directions of the velocity, then you may need to use the so-called equation of continuity and then the equation of motion in here. Okay, I will not discuss those complex topics, but I encourage you to look into the book itself to see that how actually transfer phenomena is being developed over the time. And then this book, Bird, Stewart, and Lightfoot, is the book that people use everywhere for the transfer phenomena. And these three guys, Bird, Stewart, and Lightfoot, they were professors in University of Wisconsin-Madison for some time, and they were the one that developed this transfer phenomena as well for the chemical engineering. Okay. With that, I conclude my video for this week, and the example will be discussed on a separate video. Thank you so much for listening.